Hey everyone, so this is my first Moxi video for you all. I'm going to try and break it down, make it just a little bit more simple so everyone can kind of learn how to use Moxi step by step and hopefully start using it in your business. So the first step is you want to go to nrtgateway.com, log into your normal account as you would, and then you're going to scroll down on the gateway until you find your Moxi button. You're going to go ahead and click on that. Okay, once you're signed into Moxi, this is your dashboard right here. All of the presentations you ever create are going to be stored on this dashboard. You can see I've made quite a few, mostly for samples for classes and stuff, so I have 2 pages, but your pages will just keep building as you go. If you've never used Moxi or you haven't created any presentations, you will probably just have one that says sample presentation. That's just what Moxi has preloaded into the system, but if you don't have any, then you won't have as many as I do, but we'll get you there. So first of all, you want to start up in the right hand corner where it says create new up here. If you click on that, that's going to create your new presentation. Your first option is to select whether you want to create a presentation for a buyer or a seller. Coldwell Banker does have templates loaded into the seller section, so most of the time I choose that when I'm demoing, just so people can see the different templates we offer. If you click on buyer, there are no templates in there, but you can still just create a CMA. There are pages in there that will generate and create a CMA for you, but you will just have to, if you have any custom pages you want to add in, you'll have to do that yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and select seller. I'll click continue, and then all the templates should load. Usually it takes a couple of minutes, but they all will start to fall in just a second. Okay, so you can see my templates are starting to load in. You see the very first one says no template. This is just if you literally want a blank presentation. At the very end of the presentation, you can add pages in individually from a library of pages, and I'll show you that in a follow-up video later. But as you scroll down, you have your brokerage templates that Coldwell Banker has put into the system for you. Since I have some kind of admin access, I do have access to a lot of templates from all over the country, so just kind of ignore mine. Yours will look a little bit different. But I am going to scroll down, and I'm looking for the Cincinnati Sellers presentation right here. This is the one that you guys will have in your account. You'll also have one for Global Luxury as well. This one has 56 pages, so this is the full listing presentation with the full CMA, and then you can either use the whole presentation or you can narrow down the pages as you go. There's also another one in here at the very top. It's called your default seller template. If you select that one, you can see it only has 13 pages. Those 13 pages are just the CMA pages specifically. So you could start with the 13 pages, access that Coldwell Banker page library at the end of the presentation and add pages in one by one, or if you just need to create a CMA for your seller, you could select this one as well. So you'll see these 13 pages are the CMA pages. I am going to go down and I'm going to choose the Cincinnati Sellers presentation with the 56 pages, and I know it sounds a little overwhelming, but as you keep going, I will show you eventually how to, if you follow up with some videos, I will show you how to narrow down those pages a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to hit continue, and your next step now, you can see we are on step 3 up here. We need to create a title for our presentation. Your client will see this title, so just name it either. I always recommend either their name or the property address. But when you do create the presentation, it'll say presentation created for Jacqueline Kimmett. So if I name my presentation title Jacqueline Kimmett, you'll see my name kind of duplicate on the final presentation. So it'll say like Jacqueline Kimmett as my presentation title, and then underneath it'll say prepared for Jacqueline Kimmett. So it's a little bit redundant. So most of the time I just tell agents to put in the address, and then they kind of prefer that anyway, so they keep their properties straight on their presentations. So I'll just do 123 Main Street, keep it simple. If you do have access to a different MLS, like if you have Cincinnati and Dayton, right here is where you can kind of toggle back and forth between those two. But mine's just Cincinnati, so I'm going to hit create. And then from here, it usually takes just a second. You'll see that black circle kind of going around and around, and then your presentation should load just like this. I'm actually going to skip over all of these steps for now. I'll make another video for this later, but I want you to go up to the very top right here where it says Pages 56. Go ahead and click on the word Pages, and it's going to take you to the very last step of this presentation. So now you can see on the left-hand side where it's kind of black, the black box with the white words, you have all of your pages. Your listing presentation pages are all first, and then towards the bottom, when you get down to your property summary, from property summary down to getting started, that is where your CMA pages come into play. So my goal, I guess, with this video is for you guys to realize how to take these pages and narrow them down and figuring out which ones you want to actually keep in your presentation. So if you kind of work through one by one, it is a pain, I do understand that, but once you do it one time, we are able to save these presentations as templates and you'll never have to do it again, which is awesome. So as you click down, you go one by one, kind of read over the pages and make sure you understand them. You can explain them to your clients. If it's something you believe in, you think is important, feel free to include it. But if you come down, there's a couple pages that are just pictures. As you scroll down, you can kind of see they're just kind of placeholders that allow you to transition to the next topic. So I'm like, oh, I don't really need that in my presentation. I'm going to go right back up to my page. I want to make sure it's highlighted in blue. I'll click these three dots right here, and I'm just going to remove that from my presentation. And then you'll just kind of keep working your way down this list. There are some that are just a little bit extra, a little bit of fluff, like these web partners pages. These are showing all of the possible 900 websites our listings could possibly be fed to. It is impressive, but I know it takes up a lot of time in your presentations. So you can go down here, make sure it's highlighted. You're going to click on those three dots and hit remove, and you're going to do that for the rest of those pages. So basically that's what I wanted to cover in this first video. I wanted to get people up and running and know how to kind of narrow down their presentation. Everything automatically saves, so if you feel like you came to a good point and you have everything narrowed down, then I will show you where your presentation ends up. A quick thing to note is down here in your CMA at the very bottom, you will have a section for your pricing analysis and your net proceeds. As you go through the presentation, I'll cover this in a different video, but you do have a spot to put in a possible price range for the house, and you also have a spot to fill out a net proceeds sheet. If you decide to opt out of either one of those, you will want to move those from the presentation just because they will show up blank like this. My recommendation is to keep them in your template just in case for a property you do want to use that price range or that net proceeds sheet. And then if you end up not using it, it's easy enough just to take out on a per presentation basis. But I would just keep them in there for now. But I just wanted to point those out so you know where they are. But anyways, okay, I'm going to scroll up to the very top. I'm going to click on the word home right up here in the left-hand corner. And when I click on that, it's going to take me back to my home screen, and you will see all of my presentations again, and you can see my 123 Main Street is showing up very first because it's the last one I edited. So it always saves, automatically updates. You don't have to ever hit a save button or anything like that. But then this is kind of the first step in your presentation. Really narrow down those pages, and then we can work on adding in custom pages and getting a little bit more creative from there. If you ever want to go back and edit a presentation, just always click on this little edit pen right up in the corner of the presentation. It's going to take you right back in there, and then you can make as many changes as you want. If you want to view the presentation, just click right on the house or the picture, and it's going to open up the presentation in presentation mode. So I hope that helped you guys a little bit. I hope the video is a little bit easier to understand and will get you kind of up and running with Moxi. But if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'd be more than happy to help.